Hello class, today we'll be looking at renowned children's literature author Eve Bunting. A little bit about Eve Bunting. She was born in Mangra, Northern Ireland. Both of her parents loved to read. Her father read poetry and her mother made a community lending library for their hometown since they didn't have a library. Having both parents that loved to read is what likely influenced Bunting to become a children's writer. Bunting and her family immigrated to the United States in 1958 and settled in Pasadena, California. The reason they moved out of Ireland is because of economic depression, religious discrimination, and climate reasons, mainly because it was rainy. After moving to Pasadena, Bunting started attending Pasadena City College, where she enrolled in writing class. This is where her writing career started. The first story Eve Bunting wrote was The Two Giants. The Two Giants is an Irish folktale that Bunting thought everybody knew, but found that people in the United States did not know this story, so she decided to write it. Some of Eve Bunting's most notable works are Fly Away Home, A Day's Work, Yard Sale, Terrible Things, An Allegory of the Holocaust, and The Memory String. But this doesn't even scratch the surface. Eve Bunting has written more than 100 different books, many of which are just as good, if not better, than the books mentioned above. And all of them are either children's literature or young adult literature. The themes and styles of Eve Bunting. So, her work covers a wide range of themes, but she is known for taking on difficult issues such as poverty in books like Fly Away Home and Yard Sale, racial inequality in books like Terrible Things, An Allegory of the Holocaust, and death from books like The Memory String, and putting them into children's stories. One theme that Bunting tends to write more about is immigration. This is likely due to her experiences with immigrating to the United States with her family. Most of the illustrations from her books have a hazy look to them, so some people can see themselves as the characters. Bunting's style is mostly contemporary fiction by making up stories that could be real to some people. She also uses a lot of word imagery to lead the reader feeling what the character is in the story is feeling. Another style Eve Bunting uses is no happy endings but leave hope for the future. Her book leaves the reader to make up their own ending for the characters. She is also known for letting the reader know what characters are thinking, giving the reader a sense of how the characters are feeling. Lastly, Bunting has started to write books that are just fun to read with no deep messages. It can be speculated that Bunting's work has started to shift from the seriousness to the fun because of her grandchildren and wanting to write more literature for them. There are many generalizations that can be made about Bunting's work, but the generalizations that most children from kindergarten through 8th grade will make are poverty, immigration, and no straightforward endings. The first generalization is poverty. Children will pick up on this quickly from her books like Fly Away Home and Yard Sale, where families have to make tough choices about where to live based on socio-economic reasons. Another generalization that can be seen in her work is immigration. Like her book A Day's Work, an immigrant boy and his grandfather are trying to find work for the day so they can provide for their family. The last generalization children will make about Bunting's books is how they end by letting the reader come to his or her own conclusions. It can be seen in all of her books how the reader is left to make their own ending. These are the references that I used to make this video. We used Scholastic.com, Kids Reads, ReadingRockets.org, and Eve Bunting authorstudy.weebly.com. And these are the references for the books that I used from Eve Bunting. I hope you found some information on Eve Bunting useful for the future.